Business. This is the platform where we talk business and all things surrounding it, how to change your mindset and how to approach things differently as long as you are trying to make a better tomorrow. Every single week we bring in a different technocrat or a captain of industry to come and discuss the way forward, whether it is in your business or in your mind. We're minding the business that matters, and it starts today. My name is Kim Sibanda. You can call me Kimmy K, Sibanda Umandao, the original Black Rose. And in the studio, I have a man who needs no introduction, and he is somebody who I have met in various spheres and has motivated me, encouraged me, and I still feel like he will continue to be effective going forward. And today I hope he does the same for you. His name is Dr. T P Matsika, and Dr. T P Matsika is the founder and CEO of CEOs Network. Good morning, Doc.
Hi, Kim. It's good to be here.
How is everything? How is Zanzi when people have nothing to talk about? They ask about the weather. How is the weather? In the studio, I know it's cold.
No. In the studio, the weather is amazing, but outside, we really need the rains now.
We do?
Yeah.
Oh, so all right. So apparently there's an El Nino coming.
Yeah, we need to brace it up and take it as it is.
Take it as it is.
Take it as it is.
We're talking about taking it as it is with the weather, but can you just, for those that do not know you, briefly introduce yourself and give us a little bit on your background?
Well, you've already said it. I'm Dr. T P Matsika. T stands in for Tafadzwa. P stands for patience. I don't know why my parents gave me probably some nice sweet names. So from a social perspective, others call me Tafadzwa. If they want to be a bit naughty, they can say patience. But look, I'm just an entrepreneur trying to make people's lives much better. We realized it in 2008 when we started doing the awards, that the greatest need for any human being is to be acknowledged, to be told you're doing very well. That gives you manyawi, kind of, to be able to see the future better, and then to be able to create your own future and your own narrative. So basically, I've been in the industry for the past 15 years, trying by all means just to bring hope to anyone who needs it, especially to a confused and dying world.
I like how you say, why do you say confused and dying world?
Look, we are in an environment and in an era where a lot of things are being said, but no one is really taking ownership.
Okay.
And from a black man's perspective, my biggest worry is we have not created legacies. We have not created a tomorrow that even our children can then be able to rely on. We are more of consumers than creators. And that worries me. And that then creates a lot of confusion. What have we left for our children? What are we leaving as a legacy? What is the tomorrow going to be like? So, yeah, we need to change the narrative quickly and make sure we have got a definite future.
I can tell that that's what's inspired you to pursue the current projects that you are doing and right now. For someone who doesn't know what it is that you actually do, just in brief, can you just tell us what it is that you are doing so we can get to the dirty part of it?
We are awakening the giants in people.
Okay.
We are saying, look, you are a CEO in your own right. There is no school in Zimbabwe that trains CEOs.
Okay.
When you go to school, you get BBA marketing, be it accounting, engineering, and everything else. But there's no school that specializes really by creating a CEO. It's an inherent thing that you then start acquiring bit by bit until the powers that be feels like this one can become a leader. So ultimately, we are simply saying everybody has got the aptitude, has got the ability to run their own companies. And the first company that you need to be able to run is a company called self.
All right.
If you cannot run self, you cannot become a CEO. It becomes wishful thinking.
You need to be the chief executive officer of your own life.
I'm always saying, if you wake up in the morning and you fail to spread your bed, how can you run an organization? Because you're failing just to run the nitty-gritties of your own life. This issue of us being broke soon after pay, you're not going to become a CEO.
So how does one become a CEO?
Discipline. You need to be able to have self-conscious discipline.
Okay.
I'm always saying, this is 1980, that someone will say there's January disease. January is just a few weeks from now.
definitely.
But you realize someone will work and eat and spend as much as if there's no tomorrow coming.
Of course, we are in December. Get December, Doc. We need to be celebrating about all our hard-earned effort. My
Kim,
double PHP.
Need I remind you, we're in 2023.
Yes.
And I'm always saying, for those that want to know, always be 10 years ahead of your time. And I'm always saying, we are no longer in 2023, we are now in 2033.
All right.
And the same way we used to celebrate Christmas in 1980, surely should we be celebrating it in 2023 in the same manner?
No, we can't.
Life has changed.
Life has changed.
And spendings have changed. And we need to be able to embrace it.
All
so right. It is only a folly. I didn't say foolish, I said a folly. A person without hope and direction that will wait for a miracle to happen in January.
All
when
right.
the telltale sounds are right here.
All right, so you are telling us what a fully does. It is only a fully that waits for something to happen. It is only a person who is not organized, who cannot make their own bed, who is just waiting for a miracle to happen. So let's talk about how does one get to a point where they become not just a CEO, but a successful CEO?
You need to choose your environments very carefully. I've often at times said the people that you interact with shape your destiny. If you have got 5 people that ride bicycles, you're most likely to have a bicycle as well.
Okay.
But if you've got 5 people that are millionaires, they're going to push you to become a millionaire. So your network determines your net worth. Who do you spend your time with? The language that you guys are speaking, are they challenging you? Are they expanding you? Are they making you see things far ahead of time? Or you're just confused by talking about the challenges of today? Among the people, there should be someone who comes up with a solution and says, look, guys, things are going to be like this. We're just speaking about the El Nino right now. And the weather forecasters, they spoke about this thing long before it happened.
True. Yes.
But were we ready for the El Nino?
No, we weren't. We are not.
The rains are not going to come anytime sooner.
That's true.
We don't want to dampen the people's spirits, but that is the reality of the matter. Even in our own space, own personal space, understand that things are not going to remain the same. And we need to prepare for the West. And the time to prepare for the West is now. You now need to live, some have said, way below your means. I'm saying create the future that you want now by associating yourself with the right kind of people.
You're talking about association. You're talking about being in the right circle, being in a circle of 5 millionaires, and of course you will be the 6th. If you want bicycles, have 4 people with bicycles and you will be the 5th. But it's not that easy. I come from a background where ndikuva kumusha pa growth point, and I dream kuti ndoda kudrive mota, ndoda kuvaka imba. Where do I get these right people? Ndikubva mtown and I just have a regular job. I have no access to these people that you are saying be with the right people, the people that might help me to become a better person. How do you help me?
The first thing that you need to understand, Kim, is let us not all become hypocrites. Be true to yourself. When you want to make it in life, understand you have to start from somewhere. I've often at times said the greatest danger of any person is a fake life, hypocrisy. You cannot spend the money that you do not have. No, you can't do that. So it means there are certain shops that you need to avoid now.
That's not easy.
Not because you don't want them.
Yes.
No. You tell yourself, I am not yet there.
All right.
Remember, life is segmented into different segments. You know where you want to go. That's the point. But understand and accept your reality now, that I am not yet there. And from there, once you start living an honest life, great people understand honesty. And they feel like we need to support somebody who is honest enough because you're true to yourself. The confusion that we were speaking about earlier is people that know exactly where they want to go, but they want to quicken the process. And in the quickening of the process, and people will doubt your credibility.
So we were having a conversation just yesterday on radio where we said, what are the things that when you meet somebody, you're like, no. A lot of people were like, if I meet someone and I don't how did I know this person? There's not a good character to be around. So yeah, I hear what you're saying.
So the most important thing is to study the lifestyles of the person that you want to become.
Okay.
Where do they go? Who do they interact with? And that process of studying requires time. You cannot just rush everything else.
But wait a minute, there are some motivational speakers out there that tell us dress for where you want to go, have coffee in affluent places, and be in the places that you want to exist. But here you are telling us, go to the things and it has a budget. How does that work?
The danger of life, Kim, is putting pressure on yourself. Understand that there are already those that have made it in life. You are not yet there. So don't put pressure on yourself. When you put pressure on yourself, you are keeping yourself away from the powers that be. The most differentiator issue when you want to make it in life is your language.
Okay.
Let people understand that this person is not yet there, but intellect-wise, this person knows what they want. So invest as much as you can in your mind.
All right.
And it will change the language.
Okay.
It's a process. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. I was saying to someone just yesterday, and I said, who then differentiates what's called fake and what's real? If it is you, who should be able to say, what I'm wearing is genuine. Create your own narrative. Because if you're going to move around and people are saying this is fake, you're living in someone else's regime, someone else's life. We want you to start being a creator of your own narrative, a creator of your own life. And by so doing, guess what you're doing? You're creating confidence within yourself. And life will begin to go upward.
On an upward trajectory.
Yes.
If you are listening in right now, we are with Dr. T P Matsika. He is an entrepreneur extraordinaire, a marketer by his own right, and definitely he is the founder and CEO of CEOs Network. Many of us that are in the business circles do know him for many awards that a lot of entrepreneurs get to celebrate them in their various spheres. And if you've got a question for him, please do come through. Don't hesitate. Kudzidza kuvunza handi on 0712-831-172. We are minding our business and making sure that the business that we mind is successful. And we are in a situation where we are saying, let's reposition our minds for a successful future. So we're talking about repositioning the mind. If I've been thinking that money, and today you're telling me to live within my budget, how do I reposition myself so that I can win when I step into 2024?
2024, Kim, is not going to be a very easy year. It's going to be an amazing year, 100% guaranteed, but it's not going to be easy.
Okay.
It's not going to be a walk in the path. With the advent of artificial intelligence, it means everything is going to shrink.
Okay.
We all grow up knowing that it's called a global village. It has really become a small, minute village because you don't need to be in Dubai every day, but you can be in Dubai on your phone.
That's true.
You don't need to do anything amazing. You can order things. You can be in your office, but on your phone as well. So things are becoming smaller. But here's the issue. They're also becoming faster. I've said anyone who's very serious about money, 2024 is not 12 months. Everything that can be done in 12 months can also be done in a quarter of that year. So others are going to make their annual year turnover in just 3 months, others in 6 months. So at the end of the day, we are now drawing closer to 2033, the one that I mentioned initially. That 2033 is not far.
It's not.
We are bringing it closer and closer and closer. So now when you want to reposition your mind, go 10 years ahead of our time and say December 2033, how are things going to be like? Let's change the narrative. Are they going to be doing things the same way that they're doing now? Are they going to be spending in the same manner that they're doing now? Are their associates going to be the same in the same manner? Things are going to be totally different. So you realize that even your circle of friends is going to become smaller and smaller and smaller. But what then defines it is you need to be in a circle of people that are going somewhere at the same supersonic speed as you want.
But how do I identify those people in my circle? I'm finding it hard to even get right with myself as an individual out there. How do we find these people that we say, identify that I can hang out with this person because of these qualities?
In 2023 alone, we have identified more than 2,500 potential CEOs.
Okay.
through our various sectorial awards.
All right.
Be it from a security perspective, ICT, sales, marketing, and everything else. And the clarion question was, how did you find me? Because we don't canvas, we don't ask people to do, and the unorthodox means that, look, nominate this, do this, do this. But through artificial intelligence, we're able to innately find and identify key people that were doing well. But they did not realize themselves that they're doing very well. Only for them to sit back, take a self-introspection and realize, but it is true what these guys are saying. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. So I want you to understand that to identify the right segment needs you to study really what you want.
Okay.
You're not going to just dragnet everybody and say, look, they're going to be part of my... No. You need to be able to specifically say, do I want people that are moving in this direction that I want? Are they people in the same spiritual realm as I want, financial realm as I want, social realm, you name it. But the ground is so fertile in Zimbabwe right now as we speak, of great minds. The danger is when somebody does not know their fullest potential, then others will take advantage of the greatest potential that they have. And I'm going to be unfriendly with a lot of people, but I've said, look, we need to take the model of China.
All right.
You cannot have somebody who's going to be glorified because they've worked for an organization for more than 10, 15 years. You're taking space for others. God has given you that finite time, 5, 6, 7 years, get out of the system, create something else. Let's move from being consumers.
That's true.
To creators.
Isn't there too many creators? Like, you'll find that in the market right now, everybody's opening a shop. Everybody's opening a food shop, a clothes shop. Of late, people are even getting into liquor. Everybody's everywhere. Kanatim Road, everyone's got a grocery shop. They've got those mangoredo, some veggie. Is there not too many people trying to become entrepreneurs? Isn't there a way to streamline those that have gone to school, that go into jobs, and there's a way for those that are entrepreneurial to move into that, those that are more technical? Why it's like mvenge out there? Is that what you're saying? It's okay, let's just do it like that. In 2033, we'll just have a lot of marketplaces and no consumers.
Kim, who determines that there are too many? From a market perspective, the more the people, the more the money.
Okay.
And remember, there's a baby boom. People are being born. Others are dying. But those that have been born are more compared to those that are dying. So it means the market is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. We need to be spoiled for choice.
Okay.
We now need to move from just having a boutique to having a manufacturer in Zimbabwe who's now able to supply the boutiques. Right now, everybody is trying to go to China. They're trying to go to tech and everything else. And I'm looking for somebody who's going to say, look, let's go to China and bring in the factories so that they are here in Zimbabwe. The Chinese model is quite interesting. Their factories are in the rural areas.
Really?
And if we're to have factories in Zimbabwe in the rural areas where the rains are not good enough, where there is poor soil, whatever, and everything else, and we set up factories there, it would then mean that the cost of production becomes cheaper, and we're able to then feed those boutiques, those supermarkets, and everything else at a fraction of the cost. But the problem is we still have got the consumer mindset. We want to go there, bring in, put a markup, and hit the market. And those that are doing that, they do not want you and me to know the actual price that you can get in Turkey, in China, and everything else.
Yeah, someone said to me, if you go to Turkey, if you go to China, and you go shop for yourself, I promise you will come and do a massacre of all the boutique owners to say, what are you doing?
But here's the problem. Nobody's saying, let's invite these guys as investors to set up the factory in Zimbabwe. Tell you it's going to be way cheaper to set up a factory, the same that is in China, here in Zimbabwe. Not in Harare, not in Bulawayo, but right in Otito.
That is true.
Right in Chikomba and everything else. It's going to be a fraction of that. But because we are Africans, we want to believe anything else that is overseas becomes better. And I'm calling upon anyone who's thinking out there that let's entice them, let them come in and set up shop at a fraction of the cost. And we'll benefit out of that.
All right, so you're talking about innovation, you're talking about people coming together and actually talk about investing back into the country, getting investors to come back. But we've started getting these innovation hubs that we see where different, whether banks or financial institutions, big companies are saying, if you are an innovator, the same thing you're saying, if you're an innovator, if you're an inventor, come through, let's work together. What results are we seeing from that? Because there's a lot of them now. And the milestones, yes, they are there. What can we do to take advantage of such initiatives?
The innovation hub's very good thought, 100%. But my concern is who's protecting the innovator? Because any person who's good in Zimbabwe, they have been enticed by probably a greener life outside Zimbabwe. Now we need to be able to have, let us protect such great mind that we have. It's a pity that we talk about having the brain drain and say Zimbabwe's got the greatest cream of the mind that is going abroad and everything else. And we clap hands and we relate, but at the end of the day, we are shortchanging ourselves. If we were to do these innovation hubs and they remain here, the cream of the innovators remain in here, then definitely things are going to be able to change. We need to be able to think, like I've said, 2033 now, and see how best we can change the narrative. Yes, we think better, but are we protecting such minds?
All right, I got, when you're talking about protecting such minds, there's an inventor who did a chargeless car. His name is Maxwell Chitsumbo, and he was saying that he's failing to even get a patent on his innovation. How can we support people such as Maxwell to actually come out and do exactly what you're saying? Come out and actually make cars. I mean, in Zimbabwe, even if fuel is a problem and you can't have fuel, you might as well have the Elon Musk Teslas are there. We might as well have a Maxwell car come out where it charges itself. I think it uses radio frequency or something like that. But he's saying he's failing to find someone who can protect him. How then can the market support such inventors that are doing so wonderful?
It's very unfortunate, Kim, that our background is very bad. Anything that has got a vernacular name to it might not really see the end of light. That's why you realize that if you want your company to become better, you need to put an English name to it, and it sounds more international.
Bulldog International.
Than local. And by so doing, we are becoming our own poison to our own success.
Yeah, because Chitsumbo International.
And unfortunately, it is us, those that are local, that are not buying into it. We are so much of great critics. And I've often at times said, look, when someone is sitting in the Europe or in the Americas and they are seeing what we're writing on social media, criticizing each other, then the confidence levels are gone. How can we come in and celebrate a foreigner when the locals are not celebrating you? So at the end of the day, charity begins at home. Are we ready for that? But when this gentleman goes abroad and this pattern is taken up by probably an international name, and everybody is now saying, oh wow, this is good. Oh wow, this is good. So we are our own enemies. Right now we're talking about Manyika, who's now part of Google, artificial intelligence, and everything else. For years, nobody knew about him. Nobody. And it's only now people are saying, oh, we've got a Zimbabwean at Google and everything else.
And we're so proud. We're very proud of that.
No, we're not proud. We are jealous. Zimbabweans are jealous. How can you be proud at the end of the tale? At the initiating part, when things were starting, we were not there. We were not supporting each other.
Yes.
Yes. Right now, I tell you, I went into a certain restaurant and they said, we've got Dubai water. And I said, what's the difference between this Dubai water and Zimbabwean water?
Yes.
And I said to the owner of the supermarket, of the restaurant, can I also bring in a Chikomba water? He says, where's Chikomba? I said, Kumusha Kwangu. He says, no, we want Dubai water. So anything that is outside Zimbabwe that is foreign is acceptable. But I've got a very good chisipiti in my rural home, which is very good, but nobody wants that water. So you realize that we are our own poison. Anything International and foreign, we accept. But anything that is homebred, wow.
We shun. We shun like it's all rubbed in dirt. So that mindset, isn't it something that we grow with? Isn't it? How can we foster a different attitude? Because you're talking about not looking at 2024, but maybe even 2034.
Right.
How can we start now to change that mindset? So hopefully by the time we get to 2034, we are a nation that is supporting each other. I think one nation that does support themselves for themselves, unfortunately, it has its own repercussions to us Zimbabweans in South Africa. They want their own to have their own, to do their own. Nigeria, they want their own to have their own, to do their own. How long do you think it'll take for us as a Zimbabwean nation to get to that level?
Well, I personally think as we reposition our mindsets, as we change the narrative of how things happen, I'll give an example. How many of us know that the Russian president, Putin, is a fluent speaker of English? But when the world leaders go there, he gets an interpreter for them to interpret the English into the Russian language. And when the interpreter makes a mistake, Putin corrects the interpreter. Not that he can't speak English, he can. But he has told himself, when they come to my land, they do it my way. And we need to reposition that mindset.
When you go to Russia, you do as the Russians do.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, what we're simply saying is, as we reposition our mindset, Kim, let it be very intentional. It is us that are going to create the future that we want. And I've said that, look, if you are pushing someone else's vision, you remain poor. There's a vision pusher and then there's a vision maker. What visions have we made? And as we look in terms of 2034, not 2024, because others have already done, they've come up with a strategy for 2024, 2025, right up to 2034. And they are the ones that are now controlling how we see things and everything else.
An example is the country itself. We are pushing a vision to 2030,
right.
And here you are pushing your personal vision to just 2024.
Yes, that's been very shallow.
Oh, wow.
That's been very shallow.
I like it. I've never actually looked at it like that because, you think, it's so far, but it's so near. It is so near. So you were talking about looking at oneself and also a vision pusher versus a vision, what you said? You said there's a vision pusher.
There's a vision pusher.
And there's
a vision maker.
And a vision maker. So we are several vision makers in the making.
Right.
How do we collaborate? Because I find that's one thing that a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of vision makers struggle to do, because we want to collaborate. Paita kamari, all of a sudden one guy achabatiki, and all of a sudden dira na ubuda. They know what? All of a sudden takutono acting boots ku Dubai, ku Mauritius. How can we collaborate to win in 2034?
What everybody needs, Kim, is a mentor. Have somebody who has made mistakes for you.
Okay.
And who's willing to correct your mistakes so that you don't replicate their mistakes. Not everything is Harare. Not everything is Bulawayo. What I'm trying to say is not everything is Ebonite. Right now, with where things are happening, where people are moving away from the rural areas, do the opposite and go to the rural areas. I think with a lot of shortages of things around, you've realized that life is much fancier in the rural areas than it is.
More refreshing.
Yes.
You're more open to think better.
But we need to change the narrative. Instead of calling them the rural areas, why don't we start calling them our mini farms? That's the reposition of the mindset. So when you go Kumusha, it's no longer Kumusha, it's mini farm. And there are certain things that are done at a farm. The first thing that you need at a farm is water.
That's right.
If the rivers are dry, if the tsimes are dry, let's follow where the water went. Let's drill the bores. The deeper the better. Let's build not just the farm bricks kind of houses. Let's build permanent structures that are very nice. If you want to put a lawn at your rural area, do it. If you want to put electricity, the solar things, do it. Create a lifestyle that you are able to enjoy there at a fraction of what you're going to be paying in Harare and everything else. When you put your bore there, put irrigation. Build the greenhouse.
But here we are talking about fixing things to our mini farms kumusha ikoko kwatiri kuenda. But right now, as we are going, there's so many people that cannot afford a lot of things, and they've decided to go into our homes and just help themselves to even maybe even attacking the people that have worked hard for their things. There are people that are vandalizing. Let's say, for example, just electricity in itself. The electricity wires are put, you are vandalizing, you are taking them to going to sell so that you can have a little bit of money, but tomorrow several people don't have this. The same thing for water, the same thing for our Wi-Fi's. We're trying to progress, yet there are so many people in positions where they feel that progress can help them progress as well. So it's like we're taking 10 steps forward to take 30 back every single time. What do you say to that person? Who is that person who is going to take things and what is the so?
You know, a guilty conscience is never a good sign. Where you're always looking behind your back and simply say, who has seen me? You see a police officer, you want to hide and say, maybe they think they're coming after me. You see somebody looking at you and say, maybe they've identified me. That conscience is never a good thing. But again, we need to go back to this issue that we were colonized in such a manner that we were told the bright lights are good. Now that the bright lights are dimming, why don't we go back and create the brighter lights elsewhere? Because everybody wants to be in Harare. Everybody wants to be in Bulawayo, where things are perceived in courts to be better and finite and everything else. But we are running our way and creating space for others. And it is only the wiser who says, let me do the opposite. When they are coming this side, let me go that side. We have created a lot of youth without much to do. So they spend a lot of time idle, and an idle mind is a dangerous mind. In fact, let me change it and say an idle mind is a killing mind. Not only are they going to rob us, they're eventually going to kill us. So let us become resourceful. 2024 going onwards needs people that are very resourceful. Not people with money, but people that have got a mind that thinks, that can attract the resources. People that are willing to really work hard. Not just hard in terms of hands and the mind, but that are also willing to work smarter. The element of connectivity, bringing in the right people into your spheres of influence and seeing the end today.
All right. So if you're just joining us, we are about to round off, but we're talking about repositioning ourselves for success, not just for 2024 as we round off 2023, but repositioning ourselves for 2034 and beyond, for generations to come, creating that generational wealth, that generational mindset. And I know before we started the show, he was talking about a lot of people want money for today, but they're not thinking, they're saying, I want to be rich, I want to be rich. When I grow up, I want to be rich. But how about having to say, when I grow up, I want to create wealth? Please just explain what you meant by that for someone who's listening. What's the difference between somebody who says, I want to be rich, and somebody who says, I want to be wealthy? Because it sounds like the same thing.
You see, when I was growing up, my Sekuru owned a general dealer right in Chikomba there. He was a headmaster, but his side hustle, he owned a small little shop where he would sell a bit of general dealers, groceries, a bit of beer, you name it. The problem that he did was he did not pass on the knowledge to the children and to anyone else who wanted to learn. And that is the danger that we're doing, most of us. We have created powerhouses, empires and everything else, but there is no generational wealth transfer. And here is a little young boy who then takes over his father's business. Instead of reinvesting in that organization, all he's thinking are buying the top of the range vehicles and everything else without a sustainability approach to things. So at the end of the day, that saying that we grow up, that a fool and his money are soon parted, becomes realistic. That you have got money today, but you're poor tomorrow. Why? Because you do not know how to generate wealth and then pass it on to the next generation. And remember, there's a difference between rich and being poor. Being rich means the amount of money that you have right now.
Panopinda salary.
Ipapo, madirako, and everything else, and so forth. And you can actually tell a poor rich person.
Okay.
They are poor in the mind, rich financially, but again, this correlation will not last longer. What we now need to understand is let us always plan for the worst days to come in future. What is pisa right now, Kim? I should not be pisa tomorrow. So take advantage of whatever you have to make sure that you now have a system that can be carried on tomorrow. So the problem with a rich person is they do not have systems. A wealthy person has got a system. And they will not in their basai, in their kuchgai. And that is the mindset that we now need to be able to create. I've often at times said, a poor person is really poor. When you go to their bank account, it's really zero. But a wealthy person will tell you, I do not have money. Yet they've got 10,000 as a reserve. So their zero is not zero. They've created a certain folder to fall back on, just in case things don't happen while they're trying to rediscover themselves. So as you reposition your mind, understand that you need to have respect for this thing called money, financial growth, and so forth. You realize that next year, 2024 going onwards. Because if I give you $2 and I give another person $2, the other person can go and buy super for Christmas and everything else is gone. But a person who understands well with, tenga seedlings and everything else, tenga serafuti iwewe, and that $2 begins to grow. And it grows on and on and on and on. How you take and respect money determines your tomorrow, 2024 to 2034. I would rather be a rich man who drives a Honda Fit than a poor man who's affording a GD6, sustainability, systems, and posterity for tomorrow.
Wow. And how you take and then respect your money, it determines your future. His name is Dr. T P Matsika, that is Tafadzwa Patience Matsika. He's currently the executive director for the Zimbabwe CEOs Network. He has over 15 years experience dealing with leadership across a whole lot of businesses that are doing very well over the political and social spectrum as well. He's also well known as a pioneer of business awards of various kinds, and way back in 2008 he was part of a doctorate study which ultimately became a decider in his professional life. He loves gardening in his spare time and is an avid reader, and today we have read his mind, not even thoroughly, just a portion of his mind. And I'm so grateful to have had him in the studio to just speak to us about how to reposition the mind and take yourself to a different future in 2024 and beyond. 2034 and beyond. Just your last words before you go, Doc.
Ladies and gentlemen out there, 2024 is a year. It's going to be a very short year, but very rewarding if you are ready for it.
Okay.
Respect the resources that you have. Create powerful and cyanide perfect networks, but be ready to roll. In the worst of situations, be ready to live a lonely life. Because when he blesses you, others are going to become jealousy. And 2024 is the year for the blessings as an individual and as corporate.
All right, so that's what you have as an individual and as a corporate. We are going to be blessed in 2024. Until next time, this has been Mind Your Business, where we mind our business as well as our futures, our incomes, and definitely the wealth that we want to create into 2034. Until next time.